Hi there, I'm Aimee of Refuge Yoga, and we are going to take a few minutes today to meditate. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, meditation done in the early morning is really beneficial and valuable. I think it's because life hasn't really started ringing up our phone, and in a quiet moment it's a little easier to concentrate. When you first wake up, your mind usually is still kind of sleepy and therefore quieter. But if you don't have time to meditate in the morning, or you missed your morning meditation, no worries. You can press play and this will work for you, I believe, at any time in the day. It is not the early morning for me. It is actually just after 12:30 in the afternoon, and yet I decided to press play and do a meditation. So join me. Let's sit comfortably any way you like. You could sit in a chair. You could sit up against your couch. You can sit in bed. You can have a meditation space, but you don't need one. Find a place to sit down. Slow your roll for a little bit. And from there, you're going to start by just simply bringing your shoulders up to your ears. And then meditation helps us to have more self-awareness. So now with awareness, with self-awareness, drop your shoulders on the breath out. Take your inhale with you as you pull your shoulders right up under your earlobes. And then all the air is coming out and the shoulders let down. Do that one more time. Just draw a breath in. Please hold it. With this, clench up your jaw, clench up your eyes. Create the lines in your forehead, tighten up fists. Shoulders up real tight, up under your ears. Squeeze your legs, hug in your core. Squeeze every part. Squeeze. Let go of it all. Breath out. See, right there, just a few simple breaths, but plug them into body movement. And then the exhale releases some tension, so you can kind of climb down the staircase of your own mind to have a little bit more focus already before we've even begun. It takes a practice though, And if we can release a little tension physically in the body, well then we might have a little bit easier time to meditate with our body being a little more still. While you're still sitting comfortably any way you like, I'm sitting cross-legged. Interlace your fingers in front of you. So bring your hands together. Interlace your fingers. Press your arms straight out in front of you. Simply press your chin down into your chest, and your upper middle back is pushing like it's right against a wall. And release on the out breath. Go ahead, I want you to stretch your left arm all the way up alongside your left ear. Bring your right palm to the chair, the bed, the floor, whatever you are sitting on. And the right palm's going to press into the cushion, the floor, whatever. As you breathe out, you lean your left arm. With your left arm leading, you're just going to exhale and lean right. Inhale all the way up with the right arm now, left hand coming down at your side. As you stretch up, and when you go to let yourself lean left, exhale all the air. Very good. Last thing we're going to do is just take some simple head and neck rolls. So just bring your chin down into your chest. You could even take the right palm to the back of your head and gently press. And then give a little pressing back of your back of your head into your palm. Now take the palm of your right hand, bring it to the base of your neck. You feel those kind of bony points, kind of like a ball. And you're just going to draw your fingers, the pads of your fingers, draw them right up the center of your neckline. Over the back of your head, over your crown. Press your left ear to your left shoulder. Pull your head back up. Exhale, press your right ear to your right shoulder. And then from the right, roll your head in very slow, subtle circle. Really feel as you draw your head back, make sure that's comfortable for your neck. You can pull your chin all the way up to the ceiling if that works. If it doesn't, only go as far as it's going to feel, manageable for you. And then just do a counterclockwise circle. Lastly, I'd like you to bring your attention to your shoulders. I'd like your shoulders to sit right over your hips. Oftentimes we'll round our shoulders or have our chest pressing forward, our head and neck jutting forward. So this is a practice of paying attention to lining up, shoulders over your hips, and just pressing your shoulder heads gently back to the wall behind you. Take a long breath in. Exhale it all out. Okay, let's begin by taking 10 fingertips to touch right there. And just rest your hands and your arms at your legs. You could always just grab a little cushion or pillow and put them under your forearms. Give yourself a little prop. You don't need to though, but if it works. If you decide, before we begin, oh, my low back's feeling kind of stiff or achy, I would make sure to take a pause on this, and I'll be here when you get back. Grab a pillow, grab a cushion, put it underneath your butt. Getting your hips higher than your knees takes a lot of the strain out of the low back. Okay, just an FYI. Otherwise, when you're ready, 10 fingertips to touch. I'd like you to just tuck your chin in slightly and stare down at your 10 fingertips touching. If you're more comfortable with closing your eyes, you can do it. And if you're not, don't. I'm guiding you through this, but this is really what's going to work for you. Okay, and then 10 fingertips to touch. You're going to begin with just your thumb tips touching. And with your thumb tips touching, you'll feel them physically touching already. And that's the trick. If your mind is all over the place and your mind's thinking about a bunch of other things, you won't be able to feel the thumb tips, even though they will be physically touching. You'll be there, but you won't be. And this is the practice of meditation. Can you be present and really just plugged in mentally just to your physical thumb tips touching? Now here's another trick. As you slow your breathing down, literally slow your roll on your breathing, let it smooth out, you'll be able to focus a lot easier. Even if you're really new to meditation or you haven't done it in a while, we slow down the breath, we iron it out, we make it a little deeper, then a little softer in the body. We release physical tension, so then the breath comes in a little easier and freer, therefore fuller. And then it's like, boy, I do feel the fingertips touching. And that's because your mind is really well connected. So just thumb tips touching right now. And it's okay to wander off. You're just looking for like a moment or two of just where you're plugged so deeply into the thumb tips touching. Or maybe that won't arrive until you get down the line to your other fingers. But if you can just plug in for just even a moment, you'll know, okay, I can meditate. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be through the whole thing. It's a practice. We simply are not used to training our minds to slowing down and to being really connected to what we're doing, how we're being in a moment, or what we're even saying. Thumb tips are still touching. And just let the sound of my voice kind of just seep into your brain and really just seep down into your nervous system. And you'll realize your breathing will just start to level out and smooth out and deepen and soften kind of on its own. Bring your your attention, your focus to your first fingers touching. First fingers touching. Can you physically feel them touching? Even if it's just for just a brief moment, that's perfect. And your perfect means, can I just do my best to try to really dial in my focus to just my fingertips touching? And essentially what you're doing is you're dialing in your focus to right here, right now, this moment, which is all being present really is about. First fingertips are touching. The more your mind can quiet down and settle down, the more you will physically feel your index fingers touching. You could attempt to close your eyes and not being able to physically see them, but can you mentally use your inner sight to dial in and dial down? First fingertips are touching. First fingertips are touching. Keep dropping your focus like an anchor. And instead of dropping the anchor to the bottom of the ocean, drop it down into your first fingertips touching. So you can hold your concentration there. Holding your concentration there. The first fingertips are right there with you. My voice reminds you I'm right there with you. I'm having to do this for myself while teaching and guiding you. And always remember, true teachers will tell you they most need what they're offering, what they're teaching. So I'm not above you, I'm not beneath you, I'm right there, level with you. My mind needs this as much as yours, maybe for different reasons. You have yours and I have mine, but it's a common bond. Literally drop your anchor now to your middle fingertips touching. Middle fingertips are touching. And your practice is, can I just train my mind to dial into middle fingers touching? Middle fingertips are touching. I want you to know something that, it's often not really talked about. For some of us that have gone through some major stuff, doesn't matter how old you are or when it happened or what's going on, it could be now or it could be a time before. But our nervous systems got kind of, wired up as a result of whatever those experiences or prime experience was. And as we practice sitting still, we are practicing not only strengthening focus, but we are practicing being comfortable with being right where we are. And for some people, that can feel pretty vulnerable. Vulnerable to sit still. Middle fingers are still touching. As a yoga teacher, I can tell you that there are people that would rather do high push-up, low push-up, up dog, down dog, warrior 1, warrior 2, high push-up, low push-up, up dog, down dog, over and over and over than they would rather be still. That's why we take people through a physical practice to not only strengthen their body, increase flexibility, but also to release tension that will keep them from feeling relaxed enough to be still in the final resting pose called Shavasana. So we're practicing being present and we're practicing being still. Drop your anchor now into third fingers touching. And when your mind is a little more settled, I'd like you to drop an anchor down into your heart and let your heart speak out one thing that is going well in your life. We all know what it is for life to come apart. We know what it is for life to be busy and stressful, and we'll say things like, I have so much going on. And in that hurry, in that pace, it can be so difficult and challenging to just dial down, bring it back to earth, to just taking a moment, to just breathe, and then to be, and then to think, what in my life is going well? What can I appreciate right now? Because in the middle of kind of a global shitstorm of all kinds of things, dark things coming to light, it can be really difficult to remember what's good. What's one thing going well, and all your concentration is into your third fingertips touching. Drop your focus on now to your pinky fingers touching, with your pinky fingers gently pressing together. Call up two things or two people, two experiences you've had at some point in the last few days, the last week. They're just good. Who in your life is good to you? Conjure up an image in mind of how they showed you that, what they said, the experience you had, whatever it is. Call in to your mind's eye a concentration running a little deeper than your usual gratitude for what's good and who is good. Pinky fingers are touching. Pinky fingers are still touching. Keep your concentration there as best you can. And if your mind wanders off, it's probably because your mind's saying, wow, I'm not usually used to sitting like this. That's why I said in the beginning, if you can have one or two even brief moments where you were like, yeah, I didn't think about a thing and I was so connected to just my fingertips and my breathing. The practice of meditation is quieting the mind, letting it be still, letting it settle. They say muddy water let stand becomes clear. We're not only making room for a quieter mind, a more relaxed, peaceful mind, we're making room for deeper wisdom residing within you to bubble up to the surface. You ever notice you get your best ideas when you're not thinking, you're just driving or cleaning the house or taking a jog or painting, practicing yoga perhaps, maybe even working on a car. In the moment when you're so absorbed into what you're doing, you'll get a nudge, you'll get a aha moment. Well, you're practicing meditation for more aha moments. And no matter how much stress we have going on, if you can keep your focus or leave the door ajar for more aha moments of balancing stressful thoughts with what's good, who's good, what can I appreciate now. Feel all 10 fingertips touching now. Look up and look at the room around you, the room you've been sitting in from the start of this, maybe the room you were in before you ever found the video, maybe a room you're in all the time. When you kind of clear some of the cobwebs of mind, the forest through the trees, so to speak, in your mind, of all the excess thoughts. Slow down the pace. You'll see things clearer. So practice that right now by looking around you. And silently or out loud say to yourself, what do you see? I think that's a great tool for anxiety. And I struggle with anxiety, like most people in the deli line, you know. It's a great tool to bring you back to present. Because when you're hijacked in mind, it's like, that is the present moment for you, but like come back down and just identify some simple objects in the room you're in. I think saying them out loud is powerful because a voice grounds the body more than just the thought. Like right now, if I look at a lamp, but it's different when I say lamp rather than just think the word. All 10 fingertips touching. Bring your hands now. Fold them into each other. Prayer hands. Bring them to your third eye, right at the center of your forehead. Bring your hands now down to your heart. Press in. And give gratitude for having a few minutes to practice, this moment to practice, and gratitude for this as a tool to help you in your very busy, very probably pretty stressful, hurried, confusing, uncertain world. Gratitude for this as simply a tool to help you through that. Namaste, and we'll sit together soon.